Hey guys, YouTube 100 here. Alright, now here I am with another TV Halloween special review. And now here I am with a review for um, Mickey's House of Villains. So, yeah, technically this isn't actually a TV Halloween special. Technically this film is this is marketed as like a movie, but it really doesn't really have a movie feel. This was like a direct to video film that was like a tie-in to the House of Mouse show, and it really just doesn't really feel like a movie at all. So it really just comes across more as just like an hour long special for the show. It really just comes across as an hour long episode. So yeah, really, I just really do consider this more just like a special rather than I do an actual movie. So yeah. So yeah, I remember when the trailer for this came out. It actually did like get me like pretty interested in seeing it. A lot of people really were like really excited for this when like the trailer came out because yeah, the trailer really made this look like this was gonna be like pretty dark with like the villains just like all like banding together and just taking over the House of Mouse and stuff. So yeah, there was like a lot of hype around the trailer. I'll put the trailer in the description if you want to watch it. Just see like how much hype this trailer had. And then we get this special, and quite honestly, it didn't deliver. Yeah, so like I said, this film is like tied into the House of Mouse TV show that was airing at the time. I remember like the House of Mouse like aired in like the early 2000s. It was a show made for or like Playhouse Disney it was originally intended for. And then yeah, but it also like aired on some other Disney networks. Like I remember like it was shown on the Disney Channel a lot, and it was also like shown on Toon Disney. So yeah, it was like basically like played like on like all the Disney networks like the early 2000s. And yeah, the premise of the show, it was basically just like a small little dinner theater club in Toontown, as it was called. And yeah, what it was basically like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, yeah, all like the main Disney characters like that were running like the theater, and you had like a lot of just like the anime Disney characters all like attending, like all like being in the audience, and what it was just the Mickey and the others just like showing like various cartoons of like them him throughout the show. So yeah, and that's what it basically was. It was just filled with a bunch of different cartoons with Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and the others like that. So yeah. So it was basically real simple stuff. And I remember they also like had a Christmas special for this series, Mickey's Magical Christmas, snowed in at the House of Mouse. And yeah, I did watch that a lot as a kid, and yeah, I did like it. I mean, they did like show like some just like a few different types of like Christmas related cartoons that they had, and yeah, they just like showed some like they showed once like a Mickey's Christmas Carol, and they also showed Pluto's Christmas Tree, as well as like just a couple of newer ones as well, like the Nutcracker and stuff like that. So yeah, and in this one they do something similar. In this one, what they do is they like it's a Halloween theme one, and it's Halloween at the House of Mouse. And what they do is just show like a bunch of like different Halloween type of cartoons. And yeah, and that's really the what it mostly like consists of. Really, just like Halloween special cartoons. It's not really like seem yeah the stuff with like the villains taking over the House of Mouse really doesn't even seem to be the focus of the special. It really just seems to be like more centered around just showing the cartoons because yeah that's what it mostly does consist of. Because at the start of the special, like when the like everybody comes to the House of Mouse, it's shown that there are like a lot of villains there. You have villains like a Jafar, Captain Hook, Ursula, Maleficent, Hades, the Devil, aka Chernabog, whatever you want to call him, and yeah, just like a whole lot of different Disney villains. And yeah, when it starts, like Jafar and the other villains do say that they do like have a trap set for the House, but they're gonna have to wait until midnight to actually unleash it. And so yeah, and then after that, then it just like you have like Mickey and the others just like putting on a Halloween show, and they're just showing like a bunch of different types of like Disney Halloween specials, both old and new. Like they show like quite a few um uh cartoons throughout the special. They show like some old ones and new ones. They show like a special cartoons like Lonesome Ghosts, Donald Duck and the Gorilla, Trick or Treat, Mickey's Mechanical House, and How to Haunt a House, Dance of the Goofies, and then they also show like Halloween Scare and Hansel and Gretel. So yeah, they show like those like specials throughout, and yeah, like I said, really most of this special really just does consist of just showing those cartoons. Like it hardly there hardly is like any sort of focus on the villains taking over the House of Mouse at all. Like yeah, there really isn't really much focus on the villains at all. Like even like when they like it really just it really takes just like forever and ever to really for them to finally actually get to the point where like the villains do take over the House of Mouse. I remember like the first time I saw this film, like I was just like really growing impatient. I was just like, okay, when are the villains really going to actually take over? Because yeah, it takes like 45 minutes into this for the villains to actually he pull the trick and actually take over the House of Mouse. It just really just takes absolutely forever for them to really get to it. Yeah. And I guess I will like talk a little bit about the House of Mouse TV show because I really haven't really said anything about it yet. So the House of Mouse TV show, I remember, like I said, it did air like in the early 2000s, and quite frankly, I really was not a big fan of it. I mean, it's not to say that it really was like necessarily a bad show. It's just that I was never one to particularly get into it. Like it was like clever concept with like Mickey and the others like running a dinner theater like that with like a lot of the animated Disney characters really being like in the audience like that, just watching it. But yeah, I just really couldn't get into it. I mean, just I really didn't think there was really enough for it to really apply to me. And and the thing that really did get me was something that was very distracting was just like how cheap the animation was. Just especially when you're looking at all these like characters because yeah, like I said, you had just had like a bunch of like different characters from a lot of the anime Disney movies like in the audience. And when you look at them, it just shows like how cheap the animation is in this show because yeah, when you, of course, like when you look at all these characters in their like respective movies, you just see how good the animation is and how good they really look. And here in the show, you can just see like how cheap the animation really is, and just they don't look nearly as good at all. And yeah, there are some characters in this show, like the way they're animated, they look worse than others. Like there are some characters in here that in this series that I just can't I just absolutely could not stand how they looked. They just looked so freaking bad. And I mean, there were some that really didn't look as bad, like the Pooh characters were like on the show, and they really didn't look too bad. And I guess like the animation on like Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and the others really weren't too bad. But I guess that's kind of like I guess like it's just like basically how we're used to them looking because there have been like a lot of direct to video and TV specials and TV shows and stuff of that feature like Mickey and the others. So I guess like we're kind of just used to them looking like that. But a lot of the movie characters here, yeah, that's the thing that really is really distracting about this is just like how cheap the animation is and how bad they look compared to their movies. So yeah, so I really just couldn't really get into the House of Mouse really because of like how distracting it was to see like this cheap animation and even just the premise of the House of Mouse. I just really couldn't really get into. Yeah, but getting back to this special, yeah, it's like I said, it just takes way too long for the villains to actually get to taking over the House of Mouse, and even then, like when they do take over the House of Mouse, it just does. Yeah, it just really just yeah. There's not really anything else about it. It's just like they're just continuing to show some more of the cartoons. I mean, it basically is just like the same thing as the House of Mouse, just like with the villains there. So yeah, it's really like not very intimidating. I mean, can you imagine like how intense and how dark this could have been if it actually did was more focused on the villains overtaking the House of Mouse and stuff? And yeah, and even like in the end when like Mickey does take it back, like in a duel with Jafar, it just really is not uh, that enjoyable. I mean, yeah, I mean, it just is a pretty lame duel that they have, and then yeah, they just end it with like Aladdin giving Mickey the lamp and just sucking Jafar in, and that's it. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a very anticlimactic, I think. I think with the ending, just how easy it is to defeat Jafar, and the other villains just end up like fleeing from it when the lamp is pulled out. Yeah, it just is very, very anticlimactic. Yeah. And something else I don't quite understand about this special is like when they're showing the cartoons, when they're showing like the older ones, like there are like older cartoons shown in this, like back like the ones that Walt Disney actually worked on, like Lonesome Ghost, Donald Duck and the Gorilla, and Trick or Treat. And when they show like the older ones like that, they actually do show that it is being like shown like on a screen in the theater because yeah, as the older ones are playing, like on the both sides of the screen, you can see like the wall that the screen in the theater is on. So yeah, that's something I don't understand. Like, why do they like have like the older ones being shown like they actually do like show that it is being shown on a screen with having the two ends of the walls being on the screen as the cartoons are playing. I mean, they didn't do that with Mickey's Magical Christmas, like when they had like Pluto's Christmas tree and Mickey's Christmas Carol playing. Like there weren't any like that. You didn't have like the two walls being shown on there. Like it was like the entire screen had the cartoon on it. So I don't really understand why they did that here. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, yeah. But so I really don't know what to say. I mean, I really am not a fan of this, and I know a lot of people really aren't. A lot of people really did feel let down by the trailer for the film. But yeah, all I can really say about it is that I guess it's not really horrible. I mean, I guess this is probably like more geared to the fans of the House of Mouse show. I mean, if you do like the House of Mouse show, I think that you might like this special because it pretty much does have the same premise that the regular show has. But yeah, for people that really just were wanting to see like something really, really like dark with like the villains taking over and stuff, yeah, that's not what you get with this special at all. So, yeah, so I really just don't know what to say. I mean, gosh, I mean, if yeah, I personally would say I wouldn't really say it is worth a watch because I mean it's just very cheap. I mean it's just like stuff that you can like just watch by itself. I mean, and you can probably like just like watch these the cartoons shown in this special. Like you could probably like find the cartoons on YouTube or Google or somewhere, and you could probably just end up like watching just the individual cartoons there. I don't really think it is worth like tracking this film down and like just watching this film just to like see like small little things with just like the villains and the stuff in between when it's barely anything having to do with the villains really taking over the House of Mouse. So oh yeah, I personally don't really think it is worth watching. But yeah, yeah, if you're fans of the House of Mouse show, I think you may get some enjoy. You might like this, but yeah, I don't really know. Oh, so yeah, so I guess that's all I really can really say about this special. I mean, it is very simplistic. Like, it's just like an hour long special of the House of Mouse show, which is very like anticlimactic and very misleading from the trailer, and I think that's why it really does get the negativity that it does. So yeah, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. So yeah, so I know this is kind of a shorter review, but there's really not really much else to really say about it. So yeah, I don't recommend it personally. So yeah, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review for what it was. Like I said, I really didn't have that much to say because there really isn't a whole lot to talk about with this special. So yeah. Alright, so I guess this does it for my review of Mickey's House of Villains. So I hope you guys did enjoy the review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.